Gray is widely considered one of the most dynamic chemists in the nation. Dr. Gray, who now lives in Pasadena, California, earned a bachelor's degree from Western in 1957. He has taught at various universities in the United States and in Europe. More than 70 former graduate students and postdoctoral fellows who studied with Dr. Gray now hold faculty positions at colleges and universities around the world. A major contributor to research in chemistry, he has become an important leader and spokesman for chemistry.
His energy and enthusiasm are equaled only by his expertise. He's one of the country's leading chemists, Dr. Harry Gray. His success as a chemist is well documented, and that success was also enjoyed through a number of endeavors during his college years at Western.
He ran for class office. He was president of the junior class and president of the senior class. He may have had an office before then, I don't recall. He was well known in campus affairs. He played tennis. He was on the varsity tennis team. Did quite well at that. He went after everything that he got into.
Gray's professional career has also been a fulfilling one. The 1957 Western graduate moved to the California Institute of Technology in 1966, and today is the Arnold O. Beckman Professor of Chemistry and Director of the Beckman Institute. Along the way, Gray has given more than 100 named lectures from Cornell to Toronto to Copenhagen. The 1991 recipient of the prestigious Priestley Medal for contributions to chemistry has always strived for and expected nothing less than the best.
We were taking a course in advanced analytical chemistry, and this was at the end of the year, and I came into the room to take the test, not feeling very certain about it at all. And Harry came in. I said, well, you ready, Harry? And he said, of course. He says, I never take an exam unless I'm sure I'm going to make 100 on it. Well, I'm sure that Harry made a number of hundreds on those tests. He was very sure of himself.
And Chamberlain believes Western played an important role in Gray's success.
Harry was a Kentucky boy, a Bowling Green boy, son of a principal, but he was just a Kentucky boy at first. And I think that he gained great encouragement here. I know that Dr. Glenn Dooley, a chemistry professor, was his mentor and encouraged him greatly. And in fact, suggested to him when he was ready to go to graduate school that he go into inorganic chemistry and explode. And that's what Harry did.
Enjoying success in many endeavors. 1995 Western Kentucky Hall of Distinguished Alumni inductee, Dr. Harry Gray.
Well, that was very nice. I have to thank John Chamberlain for those nice remarks. I don't know whether John is here or not. I guess he isn't, is he, Tom? I'll have to see him on campus and tell him that on that test, actually, I only made a 98. Well, Mr. President, you can't threaten me with turning off the microphone because I have a booming voice, and even if the microphone is off, I will keep talking. Those of you who lived in Bowling Green in the 40s and 50s will surely remember my father, Barkus Gray, who was principal of Bowling Green High School, who gave so much of himself to this community and so much of himself to me. And you'll probably also remember my mother, Ruby Hopper Gray, who gave a lot to this community and especially a lot to the American Red Cross in this community. My parents always stressed education, and I grew up in a family in which education was the most important thing. When my father died suddenly while I was at Western, when I was a junior at Western, the rest of my family on my mother's side, who had been so good to me for so many years, really rallied behind me and gave me more support than the support I needed, because, as John Chamberlain pointed out in the video, I was thinking about going on for advanced work, but when my father died suddenly, I really needed support. And a lot of that family's here. I'm going to mention their names. I'm not going to ask them all to make speeches because there is a football game tomorrow and there is limited time, but my Uncle Boots, who's not here with us, I wish he were. I wish him well. My Aunt Winnie Mae is here. My Uncle Claude is here. My Aunt Mary Frances is not, and I wish her well. She'll be well soon. My cousin Sarah Jean Hickman and her husband Joe, they're all here with me, supporting me and their families, as they have ever since that time, and I thank them for that. Sterling Willoughby is here. He's my first boss. When I was a 10-year-old kid running around Bowling Green, I needed a job because my bicycle had a flat tire and I needed to fix it, and I wandered into the Park City Daily News, and I offered myself at 10 years old, and Sterling Willoughby, who's here, gave me a job. He wanted to get rid of me, and so he asked me to follow around a paper boy named C.C. Tatum, and I followed him around, and after a year I told C.C. I could carry the papers a lot better than he could, and so I took over his paper route, and I worked for Sterling for so many years. But when my father died, Sterling Willoughby was there for me. He was at the paper. He encouraged me to go on. He gave me a job again in my last year at Western. And my teachers, one of whom was named Dr. Dooley, and Dr. Sumter, Mr. Johnson in mathematics, and Dr. McNally in chemistry, and on and on and on, were just the most wonderful teachers you could ever hope to have to inspire you. I also married a Westerner, so I carry Western with me everywhere I go. I went to California. I married a wonderful Western lady, Shirley Barnes, who, when she was here, she's here today, of course, she's as beautiful as ever, but when she was at Western, she was the drum major of the band. She was homecoming queen, and she has followed me through life, and every time I've sort of had some doubts that I couldn't make 100 on the test, Shirley has always said to me, Harry, remember, the Spirit makes the master. Over and over, she's told me that, reminding me of Western, and for a while I really didn't believe it, but now I can tell you, Mr. President, that Dr. Cherry was right, Dr. Thompson was right, and Dr. Downing was right. The Spirit really does make the master. I can attest to that. Now, if Shirley had told me 38 years ago that I would be in this podium inducted into the Hall of Distinguished Alumni with Dr. Cherry, with Dr. Thompson, and with Dr. Downing, the men who built Western, I would have said, Shirley, you're a dreamer. But she's from Western, she's a dreamer. My family and I thank you very much.